Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Cookiecast. Today on Cookiecast, it's our NFL podcast, Laces Out. It's just me and Mr. Williams today. There's no special guest. We were spoilt last week by lots of guests, so this week we are paying for that with no guests. But it's still me and Mr. Williams, so we will do our best to bring you the best NFL news we can. Look at the games from last week and predict the games for next week. So here we go. This is Cookiecast, NFL podcast, Laces Out.
Drop down to a three-camera
setup
for editing purposes. As it's one of those. I only thought about it today. That I was like, could have got Stu on the phone.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I think he just because it's only like an hour away from him. I think he just thinks that
It's just down the road.
Yeah.
Obviously, wrestling and the NFL go together quite well for podcasting purposes.
They absolutely do. However, this week it is the latter of the two that we're focusing on.
Did all my homework this week.
Oh, it sounds like it. Sounds like you were a busy boy.
I had a rare moment. So I thought I'd utilise it for good rather than wasting my life
evil
playing computer games.
Good rather than evil, of course.
No, there is that as well. It's Cookiecast, it's the NFL podcast. We are reviewing week 5 of the 2019-2020 season. I suppose it's still just the 2019 season, isn't it? And we will be previewing week 6. As you may have guessed by that small interaction there is no guest this week, which is going to make
no in-studio guest.
I have been contacted through the socials.
What we could do is we could have a look at the odds, and the bookmaker's favourite could be the guest pick this week.
Looking through the games. Did I see one earlier that was out? So, yes, there is. I've got 2 sets of stats this week.
Mm-hmm.
I have, like I said, I've had rare amounts of time recently, and obviously we've got our provide stats. Stats mistress was hard at work getting the stats. Have you got anything to open with?
Other than the fact that Christian McCaffrey is and continues to be an absolute monster.
What a complete beast. Obviously, I'm not at any point going to draw attention to the fact that since a certain person stopped being the quarterback for that team due to a mysterious injury, yet unconfirmed mysterious injury, that's right, they've won all 4 games.
Saw something on Twitter that said something along the lines of he's back training this week.
Oh, well, that sounds terrible.
So
I finished all or nothing with the Dallas Cowboys, and it immediately started the next season, and I was like, this one's the Raiders, is it? Oh God! As his lordship walked out onto the field for the first training session of that season, I was like, no, thank you.
You're talking about Chosen's father there. You want to be careful.
Don't.
Chosen.
I
mean,
I'll choose
that tells you all you need to know, really, doesn't it?
I was contacted by one Mr. Stuart Woodmansey, and he said, hi, in fact, I'll read it. Actually, oh, I mean, this is podcast gold.
It really is. I mean, they're looking at me.
Also, on this week's Laces Out, could you boys do me a favour? Just make sure you call out that Rams defence again, for fuck's sake. So, there you go, Stu. I called out the Rams defence for you, as I said I would.
He's not happy, is he? He's not a happy camper.
I said, oh, don't you worry, it's in there. And that's what he said. Right, like I say, I've got 2 sets of stats, so let's rattle through the official stats before we go to
Okay.
my stats.
Alright.
This is the Week 5 stats provided by the Stats Mistress. Credit goes to Nate Davies, as always, from USA Today. Stat number 1 for Week 5.
Nate Davies getting the stats for his sister?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott served up 3 interceptions to the Packers. He has 4 picks in the past 2 games. Wide receiver Amari Cooper, however, notched a career high 226 receiving yards.
That is mental.
It is.
I said this. I was having this conversation with Col at work today. This is the first week that I've noticed in a long time where usually you get one player who has an absolute monster week. There was like 5 or 6
Yeah, there was
this
a
week.
lot of names on the list. One of those names is our second stat, fueled by running back Aaron Jones, career best 4 touchdowns and 182 yards from scrimmage. Rodgers and the Packers, 4-1, are currently kings in the NFC North.
They are looking good.
Well, the team is looking good.
Right.
I don't know if I wrote it down in my stats, but I'll fire this one out now. How angry does Aaron Rodgers look? He's miserable. He's so. It's just like nothing but frustration.
He's never looked happy anyway. Like the last couple of seasons, you could just tell he's been like frustrated. And stuff.
I think he's potentially getting worse. Number 3, London's Tottenham Hotspur Stadium staged its first NFL regular season game as the Raiders hosted the Bears. Venue opened in April after being built at the cost of roughly £1 billion. Might the 187th game venue in the NFL's 100 seasons host the league's first Super Bowl on foreign soil one day? Question mark.
Would not be surprised because Neil Reynolds, the guy who does the Sky Sports coverage, tweeted something out earlier. I don't know if it was today, but it might have been earlier the week, or it might have even been on the Sunday. Was that he was the atmosphere inside the stadium was up there with the best that he's been at for NFL games, and yeah, he said it not only up there. He said it was the best. So it's a big call.
Yeah.
To a man who's been to Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So yeah, watch your space. I mean, I still think that if they were going to do it at a stadium in the UK for sheer ticket sales, they'd do it at Wembley.
Yeah. I saw a thing that was saying something about like there was something about the attendance, like 63,000 or something, and somebody had posted, does the NFL realise if they'd held it at Wembley, they could have had an extra 20,000?
I think the only problem is that due to the time of year when the Super Bowl is played, they'd struggle to get it on in Wembley because it's in the UK as a whole, to be honest with you, because February's not the warmest of months. No. So the only time I can think in like my memory where they've held it outdoors in a stadium that's not in a warmer climate was when they had it in the MetLife Stadium when the Broncos got absolutely creamed by the Seahawks.
Yep.
So, but to be fair, that seemed to be alright. I don't know if it was because Seattle were used to the cold, because that's where they play most of the year, and the Broncos just didn't know what to do. But who knows?
Number 4, John Gruden apparently got the last laugh from Khalil Mack as the Raiders beat Chicago 24-21. The Bears and Mack were held without a sack against quarterback Derek Carr, while Oakland sacked Chicago backup quarterback Chase Daniel 4 times. Number 5, John Gruden's brother, former Redskins coach Jay, probably didn't find much humour in a day when winless Washington was blown out 33-7 by the Patriots. He was subsequently fired Monday morning.
So he was actually let go. I did not know that.
That's what I was saying in the football one.
Oh. I didn't actually know that.
Number 6. I'll just look and see if the stat that I've got is that. No, it doesn't. Patriots fans are celebrating their team's first 5-0 start since 2015. FYI, the 2015 campaign was the last in which the Pats did not reach the Super Bowl. Fingers crossed, laces out. 7. While throwing for 348 yards Sunday, Patriots quarterback Tom Brady overtook Brett Favre for 3rd place on the NFL's all-time list. With 18 more, Brady will bypass Peyton Manning for 2nd behind Drew Brees. Number 8, Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan has so far thrown 7 interceptions, matching his total from 2018 and 2016 when he was the league MVP. Number 9, if you had Texans teammate Deshaun Watson, 426 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, and 47 yards rushing, and Will Fuller, 14 catches, 217 yards, 3 touchdowns, all career highs on your fantasy team, you'll be crowing Monday morning. Number 10, with Sean Watson, 426 yards, 5 touchdowns, 47 rushing yards, and Will Fuller, 14 catches, 217 yards, 3 touchdowns, all career high. Houston beat Atlanta 53-32, 1 week after scoring just 10 points. Texans defence also prevented Watson from getting sacked for just the 2nd time in his career, and 1st in the past 15 games. Good on him.
Pretty good.
11, Vikings receiver Adam Thielen caught 7 balls for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns from Kirk Cousins in Sunday's win against the Giants. Was it last week you said about Kirk Cousins being just truly awful?
He's one.
The next day, I saw a video that the title was, it was Kirk Cousins and his missus doing a gender reveal.
Oh, God.
So he had like a beanbag and there was a board 3 yards away and he threw the beanbag.
Missed the board?
And nearly missed. And the caption was, just remember people, Kirk Cousins once nearly missed a throw from 3 yards. Yeah. Following a hit, Steelers quarterback Mason Rudolph was removed from the field with concussion. If he can't play next week, Pittsburgh will either have to sign another quarterback or promote Paxton Lynch. Or, I mean, that's a name, isn't it? Tarn Christian from its practice squad. Get Paxton Lynch up there.
Dear God.
He'll
The depth chart is taking a serious hit.
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers are struggling. I mean, that hit.
I didn't see it. I only saw the sort of like the aftermath of when they were picking him up off the floor.
What, when the cart won?
I didn't see that. I did see the fact that they'd taken his face mask off, and people say it's always a worry
so when
they remove the face mask.
So they leave the helmet on, and they take the face mask off so that they can get oxygen, but obviously the helmet will keep the head and spine somewhat intact if there is a serious injury. But yeah, it was brutal. 13. Is Saints quarterback Teddy Bridgewater the league MVP after 5 weeks? Question mark.
No.
Probably not. But he did tie a personal best with 4 touchdown passes in Sunday's win over the Buccaneers. In the absence of Breeze, Bridgewater has 3 consecutive wins over surging opponents.
Ooh.
Oh, what's this? What's this number 14? Anybody want to guess what 14's about?
Tom Brady, manager.
Is Panthers running back Christian
good
McCaffrey actually the league MVP?
He should be at the minute.
He began Sunday with a league best 629 yards from scrimmage. Then piled 237 more, plus 3 touchdowns on the Jags in Carolina's 34-27 victory. Watching that was insane.
So hang on a second. So he already had nearly 700,
Yep.
and he added over 200.
237 to that. And
So he's
3
basically
touchdowns.
over 900 yards.
Yeah.
Through 5
Week
games.
5.
Fucking hell.
Number 15. Or is Russell Wilson the MVP?
That's
He has
the
yet
other
to
one.
throw a pick in 2019, and his completion rate is 73.1%. Touchdown pass total 12, and passer rating 126.3. All paced the league entering Sunday. So one of my stats was that Russell Wilson has the most yards on the Seahawks. So a team made up of, various different players, like, running backs and people like that, Russell Wilson has the most yards.
Rushing yards?
Yeah. 16. Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp has surpassed 100 receiving yards in each of his past 4 games, following a roughing call against Wilson in Thursday's loss. OLB Clay Matthew unfortunately went on to take a hit with Seattle running back Chris Carson, resulting in a broken jaw that will likely keep him out for the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Good.
And 17 and final. Shout out to the Cardinals coach Cliff Kingsbury.
Cliff Kingsbury.
Oh yeah. And quarterback Kyler Murray, who tasted NFL victory for the first time Sunday as their air raid attack generated 514 yards, 127 more than any other contest this season. Just quickly jump to whatever I've got. I think I might have actually gone through them all at this point. Russell Wilson, highest rushing yards for the Seahawks. Greg Zuerlein missed the field goal, losing the Rams the game.
Greg the Leg not getting it done at the minute.
I've already mentioned it, but let's just go over it again, shall we? Kyle Allen, first 4 starts, 4 wins. So here's one for you. At this point in time, there are 2 teams that are unbeaten. As we know, the Patriots is one. Who's the other one?
Oh yeah, I had this conversation with a friend earlier today. I think if you'd have given anyone the pick of the last 2 undefeated teams at this point during the season, I don't think anyone would have picked that through week 5 the San Francisco 49ers would be 4-0.
49ers.
Absolutely mental, but
Obviously they've had a bye early, so, keeps them off the chopping block for another week. But yeah, when I saw that
they've
earlier,
played. It's not as if they've not played like some
No,
good teams. They've played the Browns. Fair enough, the Browns they've not started how everyone thought they were going to start, but they've got options on their team. They played the Ravens and beat them comprehensively the week before. So
yes, they did. Have you got anything else from week 5?
I've got no stats to bring up or anything like that.
Let's talk a little bit of fantasy. Just a smidge, just a taste.
Oh yes.
Did you ever win this week?
Might have done.
You might have done, and we will come back to that. This guy, double win this week. Obviously, as we can see from the app, for fuck's sake. I mean,
I'm not looking forward to this week's games. I am due to play Col, and I have about 18 people on buys.
like I was saying to somebody the other day, I was like, if you look through my team, the players that haven't got O, D, Q, buy next to their names. I went up against the unmanned team, the Oxford Browns. Going into the last game of the week, I was losing. Just want to say a personal big thank you to Mr. Matt Breeder for turning up this week and getting me 24 points I needed to get the 109 total against an unmanned 91.
And his team will only get better in theory when Tyreek Hill comes back. So,
I saw that Stu beat the Stats Mistress quite a bit. Would you like to talk about your game?
I got what can only be described as an unusual victory against what appears to be the league's whipping boy this season.
Well, we'll get to that. I don't know who I'm playing this week because
I know just from looking earlier on this today,
geez.
I'm going up against Col.
I'm playing the Simbins only member.
Oh, Timothy Lacey. He is racking up the points in an alarmingly bad fashion.
In a lot of ways, he's rated as number 1 this season. He isn't number 1, is he?
That's this guy.
So, if we're going to do it, let's do it. So, let's look at the standings, just to get a little bit of an overview of where we are in our little fantasy league. As we've already mentioned, 4-1, Mr. Paul Williams. Strap yourselves in for that one, kids, because it won't look like that at the end of the season. A joint second, fan favourite, Stuart Woodmansey.
In his first season of fantasy.
It's always that way, it's beginner's luck. Obviously, it's not my first rodeo. 3-1-1, joint second. Obviously, there's a lot of other players, there's a lot of other people. I do want to bring attention to the... we can talk 1, we can talk joint second. Or we could talk 11 and 12. So, the 11th place in our league is aforementioned unmanned Benji Keeps unmanned team, the Oxford Browns. They are 1-4 this season. Strange that they're not last in our league. There's a name below that in 12th place. Still doesn't have Kittle in his team. Does have 5 weeks under his belt. 5 losses, ladies and gentlemen. Matthew 2 teams, Hurley is dead last.
Currently,
has there been a greater sight?
Currently living at large in the States on his honeymoon.
Oh, he'll be speaking to his scouts and getting the stats or whatever it is he says.
Of course.
Whatever. So I have a list of games for this week. Mm-hmm. I invite you.
What I'll do, I did bring up the Sky betting, okay. So we'll use the bookies' odds to determine who the favourites are, I suppose is the best way to describe it, and that'll be the guest pick, I suppose.
Okay, so just before we do that, we do have to discuss what happened in the predictions.
No, we don't.
Yeah,
we don't.
We had 2 guests last week. We were spoilt, quite frankly, because now
we really were.
Now we've chased them all away. We've got no guests. As I mentioned to my esteemed colleague earlier, it would appear that there is a little bit of a trend forming here. Paul Williams managed to predict 7 correct.
It's better than last week. Shit the bed last week, the week before.
You very much did. Myself, I had a lovely 8 correct picks. And our guests, plural, Stuart and Matthew, 9 apiece. So yet again, another week where the guest racks up a point.
We'll play, boys,
It will not happen this week. I'm going super tactical this week.
Is this the tactical as it was from last season's podcast? Where it was
the Patriots down for everything.
You put the Patriots down for everything, but overthought it so much where it was a case of...
I don't want them to win, so I'll put
you
them down.
sort of reverse engineered it.
I think that worked out quite well, didn't it?
No, the Patriots won the Super Bowl.
Speaking of, game 1, week 6, Giants.
Do I even need to bother?
Versus the Patriots. I'll just start writing Patriots, yeah. Obviously I'm getting Giants vibes from you.
So the stats line of the betting odds indicates the Patriots are the heavy favourite, as they are a 1-9 shot.
So that's 3 lots of the Patriots. What I will
However,
say,
if you do like the look of the New York Giants, you can get them to win the game at 6-1. The handicap line is currently the Patriots minus 16.
Somebody will have to beat the Patriots at some point. I don't believe that they are going to go unbeaten this season. However, at this point in time, teams that last season looked like Patriots beaters do not this season.
Absolutely fantastic. So on Sky Bet, they currently have Super Bowl 42 and 46 repeat request bets. I was half expecting to open that up and see a catch to be maintained at one point during the game against someone's helmet.
Helmet catch?
Sadly, he's not in there.
No, I'll check. Right, so I've got Panthers Buccaneers as our next game of the week. What are you feeling on this one?
Panthers Bucks.
Yes.
Second London game.
It is. So you have the addition of travel, weather, unfortunately.
Yeah.
For us.
Sky Bet. Can't really split them that much, but they do have the Carolina Panthers as the 2.5 point favourites. And I'd agree with that.
I would also
They're
agree.
on a bit of a roll.
They are.
Christian McCaffrey, as previously discussed, looks insanely good. It could be that he could be on for another 200-yard game from scrimmage here.
Yeah.
Which, let's face it, the fans here will go mental for.
On the flip side, if your team is any good, I mean, we are talking about the Buccaneers at this point in time, but if your team is any good, that is what you should be working on.
Their main focus this week will be stop the run.
Yeah.
However, you can stop the run, but it doesn't stop him being a receiver out wide and stuff like that.
He's a multi-tooled player. I've got here the Bengals versus the Ravens. Ravens looked real nice for a while. Haven't looked all that nice.
Come up with a couple of stinkers, but how bad are the Bengals?
I mean, they're super bad.
So, reflected in as much as you can get the Ravens at minus 11 point favourites on this one. I will be following in Sky Bet on this one. I think this is the Ravens all day for me. I reckon it could be a bit of a bloodbath, if we're being honest.
Interesting game up next is the Seahawks versus the Browns. Russell Wilson is looking legit this season, and that is going to lead me down the route of picking the Seahawks.
This is another tight one. This is the closest game so far on the Sky Bet. So Seattle are then minus 1.5 point favourites.
Okay.
However, I'm gonna buck the trend here. This is where I'm taking the Browns, because Cleveland have won games this season against teams they really should be getting beaten by. So I think this will fall within that category, and I believe Baker will get it done again. Maybe air the ball out to OBJ rather than Jarvis Landry this time for some big gainers.
I don't think so. Saints versus the Jags.
Wow! No, we've got an even closer game on the spread. Jacksonville Jaguars, the minus 0.5 favourite.
Wow!
It must be in Jacksonville.
Do you think Gardner's going to do it this week?
I'm toying with the idea of if he's still available.
Picking him up. It's not a bad shout.
I've looked at his stats, and ever since he came in for Foles at the start of the season, from a fantasy perspective, he's been consistent because he's got, I think, between 15 and 20 points each week,
which is always good for.
So that's a good consistent quarterback in fantasy when you're not dealing with one of the bigger boys. Yeah. So, Saints are 4-1. Is that right? They've only been beaten by the Rams. I think that's right.
Yes.
I mean, they shouldn't really be getting beaten by the Jags.
I mean, we're talking a different Jaguars, though.
Yeah. I mean, he's got his connection with DJ Chark going.
Fournette was taking a freaking kicking on Sunday.
Yeah, but like he proved the week before, he's got a big game in him. I don't know with this one. I'm a little bit. I'm
going Saints.
Stick me down for the Jags.
To regret.
I've got a sneaking feeling that the Jags might get this one done.
This one to me would suggest no-brainer because I've got Texans Chiefs. I imagine that Sky Bet will have the Chiefs down as that.
The Chiefs are the favourites. So the
another team that doesn't look quite as good.
The 4-9 favourites, but the handicap has them at minus 4.5.
Obviously, we keep hearing that Tyreek Hill is going to return at some point. However, never when the game actually happens. So, having said that, I am putting the Chiefs down.
Yeah, Texans obviously got a big win against Atlanta at the weekend, but Kansas City are a bit of a different animal, to be fair.
Yeah.
And I imagine they'll be itching to set the record straight after getting beat by the Colts.
Yeah, who saw that coming?
Not a lot of people.
Nope.
Chiefs for me, yeah, go on then. Stick us on for a big Mahomes game.
So I saw a mock poster for the next game that was saying something about like,
dear
protect your
God.
eyes from what is possibly going to be some of the worst football you'll ever witness.
Do the Dolphins have to play the Bengals this season? I don't know if they're scheduled to meet, but if they do, oh dear. But yeah, this is pretty much as bad as it's going to get all season. Dolphins versus the Skins.
Yeah.
Oh, Skins are the marginal favourite.
Okay. I am going to have to put the Redskins down. I would work on the principle that they'll bring in a new coach, and that new coach will do something that means that they get a marginal.
I can't imagine they'll have a new coach by this game. I imagine it'll be the interim coach for the coming weeks.
I saw something say that they'll let like quarterbacks call the plays and stuff.
I don't know why I'm saying this, but stick me down for the Dolphins because I think the Dolphins will get a win somewhere during the season. I think they could end up as like it could be a 1-15, it could be a 2-14 team that we're looking at here, but I imagine they'll pick up a win against a team somewhere.
And if they're going to do it's probably
I wouldn't be surprised if it's this game.
Yeah, that's fair. Eagles Vikings.
The last of the 6 PM games. Interesting. Minnesota. It must be in Minnesota because the Vikings are the favourites by by -3. Both coming off wins.
Yeah.
I'd much rather have Carson Wentz tossing balls than Kirk Cousins.
Definitely.
Jordan Howard seems to have started to get his game back together.
Yep.
Stick me off the Eagles.
I think I'm going to join you in that one. I think when the Eagles need to get it done, they can. A potential another drainer of a game. The Falcons versus the Cardinals.
The bird off. It's another one of those games of like, who cares?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, the
Can
Falcons have been so bad. They are the -2.5 point favourite.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, on paper, this is the sort of game that Atlanta should be going in and winning comfortably, handsomely. I think they will win. So stick me down for the Falcons. It could be the game where Julio Jones just goes off and gets like.
It's been quiet.
I'm sure there was a game within the last couple of seasons where he had 300 receiving yards.
Yeah.
And it's the sort of game where
the point where they count him out. I think just purely to put down something different, I'm going to put the Cardinals. I think it's one of those. I don't believe that they're going to win. I think I'm just going to put something different down there.
Mm-hmm.
This one is an interesting one. The one thing I didn't bring up when we were talking stats, because it wasn't really a stat. Obviously, I make it no secret that I'm not, especially these days, I'm not a Cam Newton fan. Bearing in mind I have a Cam Newton jersey. Not a Cam Newton fan. I think it is, my theory is being proven by the fact that they have won back-to-back games since he's not been the quarterback. I am similarly starting to feel the same about the Rams, that I believe that Jared Goff is probably the problem in that team. I truly believe that they have been exceptionally lucky up to this point with some of the catches.
Huh? Where are you getting this?
Where am I getting what?
What game is this?
49ers Rams.
That is not on my list.
On my list, right there.
What the fuck? Oh dear. Can't give you any odds for that. It's not on the list.
At this point in time, the 49ers, as we mentioned earlier, are unbeaten.
Yeah, I think that's going to change this week.
You reckon?
Yeah. I think it'll be a heavy Rams win. I think this will be the... this could potentially be the week when the 49ers come back down to earth with a bit of a bang.
49ers Rams.
It's not on the. Yeah, for some strange reason.
You going Rams on this?
Yeah.
Obviously, for everything that I've just said, I also don't think that the 49ers will be winning this game. Potentially could be proven wrong. Don't know what to do about the guest on that one. Might make a decision later. Titans versus the Broncos.
Denver Broncos start the game -2 favourite.
Obviously, they've had a big win. Last
Not
week.
a lot of people would have picked that. I don't think any of us picked that, in fact. I think we might have all gone Chargers on that one.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody went Chargers on that game.
Yeah, Tennessee looked bad in their game against Buffalo. Yeah, sit me down for the Broncos to keep it going.
Yeah, I've also got Broncos. Cowboys, Jets.
Cowboys. The Jets, sadly, just seem very, very lost.
They're quiet this season.
Although they have got Darnold back
Yeah.
for this game, apparently, so that could give them a bit of a lift. Cowboys start -7.5 point favourites. They need a win as well to get back on track.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Cowboys for me.
Cowboys for me also. Steelers versus the Chargers.
Now, if that was Big Ben going against P-Riv,
P-Riv, yeah.
big shootout game,
Yeah.
would have been interesting to watch. Seems though it's P-Riv going up against potentially Steelers' third, fourth, possibly
or
even
fourth
fifth
string. Yeah.
string quarterback.
And it could possibly be Paxton Lynch.
Chargers -6.5 point favourites. I think that's reflected by the fact that it's a Chargers game to lose.
Yeah.
More than anything else.
Yep. And finally, I've got the Lions versus the Packers.
Now this is an interesting one for me. At Green Bay, they are the -4 point favourite. But I've quite liked what I've seen from Detroit this season so far. Eagles beat the Packers in Green Bay, didn't they?
Yeah.
On the Thursday Night Football a couple of weeks back. I'm going to go for the Lions upset win here.
Okay. I'm going for the Packers on that one.
I'm not surprised.
So that just leaves us to decide on this 49ers Rams for the guest.
I'll see if I can find it another way. That is weird that it's not coming up as an option to choose. NFC.
It's not something like it's been affected by the hurricane or anything, is it?
I don't think so. And that's quite a decent price boost if people are interested in putting bets on at the minute. LA Rams and New Orleans Saints to play in the NFC Championship game, 16-1.
Ooh.
Not bad. So the Saints are currently the outright favourite to win the NFC.
Yeah.
Closely followed by the Packers and the 49ers third favourite. Absolutely insane.
Wow.
Surprising enough, the Washington Redskins 500-1 outsiders.
Get a quiet on it.
Worth a daft pound.
Yeah.
Basically, odds of 500-1 means that if you put £1 on the Washington Redskins to win the NFC, you will lose £1, basically.
Yeah, you might as well give me £1. And I'll be like,
you
lost.
You may as well take that £1 and throw it in the river.
Yeah.
To reach the championship game, 200-1. Well, there you go.
I mean, it's one of those. Should we just put them down for the Rams? Should we go with the unbeaten record of the 49ers? Should we leave it blank?
I'll see if it's on another betting site and see if they have a say. It should be on another betting site. There should be no reason why it's not on there. We'll see what Ladbrokes have got to say about the things. NFL.
I was circulating the video around various people of the transformation of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium from
It was good.
football
It was good.
to American football. And I suppose in my head, when they made this huge deal of it, I imagined that there would just be some guy with like a key and a button, and he'd turn the key and press the button, and it'd just be like a transformer, and it would just transform. Like, I know that the pitch rolls back and stuff. I imagined it would just roll back and maybe come up, and then the goalpost would just come out of the ground. Absolutely not. That is a massive job to do that transformation.
It almost looked as if it came in stages, like as it was like strips that just basically rose up and then were pushed together. But it can't be as simple as that. There must be little post bits that they have to put in the middle. For some reason, the betting on the game is suspended.
Right, so that means something's going on there. That means that game might
However,
be happening.
The spread is 3.5, and the Rams are the minus 3.5 favourites.
Right, Rams are going in the box.
However, I want to know why the betting suspended. I wonder if there's
That's
anything.
the second site that has gone.
I wonder if there's anything on NFL to say that maybe there is like a hurricane or
Well, there was a
weather
hurricane.
warning
There
or something.
was a hurricane blasting through. Because where will it be?
I think it was in LA. No, maybe it was in. Yeah. On the picker map that you showed me there, it looked like.
Because that'll just be done like weeks in advance, so that won't adjust for. Sports Authority Field at Mile High. That is not that game for sure. Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum.
Yeah, so it's in LA.
Yeah.
So maybe they say that maybe there might just be a weather warning or something like that, and that's why they've suspended the betting, because they don't know if the game's going ahead.
But I've not seen anything.
I'd be surprised if it didn't go ahead, but like you say, stranger things have happened. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can find anything about it.
Well, the top news stories suggest like 4 hours ago, Rams 49ers set for historic clash in week 6. You can buy tickets.
Yeah, nothing on their official Twitter feed to say that the to say that the game's in question?
There's absolutely nothing there that would suggest that that game is not going ahead. It's just saying it's a very crucial game. No, I can't see anything there that says.
Well, there you go.
And I've put something in the box, so that is that. Do you have anything left to talk about week 5 or to talk about the upcoming week 6?
I have nothing to add.
I also do not have anything to add. I cannot breathe at this point in time. So, I think that is probably it for us. The Lace is out. Yorkshire's #1 NFL podcast. Until next week. We'll
Signing
catch you
off.
guys later. And remember, people, laces out.
You keep them laces out.
Bye.
So there you go. What do you think of that? Another week gone. Another week of the season over. Another week close to the Super Bowl. And let's see which team's going to make it there. YouTube watchers, make sure you're YouTube subscribers. And everybody jump over to the Cookiecast.com. Check us out over there. Send us some love. And all that good stuff. So there we go. Another one done. Another week gone. Until next week, I'm going to say bye. And I'll see you then. Bye.